Great. Linda, what are your thoughts about Wānaka Airport?
It's an incredibly exciting piece of land, opportunities. I guess I look at it in the future being one of the smartest, most intelligent design aviation hubs possibly in the world, if it takes the opportunities that come along for development of it. I think there should be a lot more workshops within community, as it started off with just small groups of workshops. Local residents were involved. There was some good communication going through the community at those workshops that seemed to get lost in all the jargon.
Can you outline the key learnings from the recent High Court ruling about Wānaka Airport?
No, not really. I can't, Meg. I wouldn't like to quote any of that.
Just the broad, what you took as the feedback from that, or the lessons from that.
I guess the lessons really, we were going into something that we weren't really clear on the background of, or there wasn't any clear vision for, in the sense of community had no aspirations for 40 years out for the Wānaka Airport. So funding sort of came our way, and then it just sort of took off to being something of magnitude that I don't think it ever was going to be. It just seemed to take off to being huge jets coming in, when in 40 years' time we won't be flying huge jets. It's just that opportunity kind of got lost, I think, in all the bureaucracy around it and people not understanding or being fully informed.
So you didn't read the judgment itself, I take it?
No, I didn't.
Yep. How have you informed yourself about airport issues?
So I guess just through the workshoppings that I've been involved with, which were very early on in the piece of the community. So they ran 3 or 4 workshops open to the community, which I attended, and I found those very good and open. And it wasn't really until it got a year or so down the track from those that we sort of lost the momentum with it.
And the Martin Jenkins report that was commissioned by the council on socio, did you?
Again, I just don't think they get adequate response from a broad range of the community to those surveys.
Yeah. Who do you believe should determine the future evolution of Wānaka Airport?
Oh, I think there's a whole range of people that should be included in that, from design, from aviation, from world leaders, futurist thinking, smart, intelligent design, use of solar, wind, other alternatives. Where are we going with the aviation? I think it should be led by aviators. I think it should be led by aviation industry and in conjunction with various design elements that go with that.
And what do you know about the Wānaka Airport Liaison Committee?
Very little.
So that's a provision that's in the district plan for a Wānaka Airport Liaison Committee, but it hasn't been established. If elected, would you promote the establishment of a Wānaka Airport Liaison Committee?
Yeah, I guess that's a sensible approach.
It's fully designated in the district plan currently.
Yeah, I would support that, definitely, Meg.
Can you describe how?
I think anything that opens up the communication again, basically in a sensible tone around the future of Wānaka Airport, would be welcomed by people in the community. I don't think there's access to that communication at the moment. So there was a body that was actually open to community approaching with some ideas of where they see the aviation going within Wānaka. I think that would be a practical starting point.
What do you see then as the key issues and considerations driving the airport's future?
Well, I think it's infrastructure really to Wānaka for a start. We've got a water waste plant there. We've got huge infrastructure under the airport currently. It's there's so many. It's a complicated placement of an airport. I think airports for me in the future would be smaller than they are now. I think we have to think about the fact that science tells us we are going to have a very large earthquake. And when that happens, we can't just have one airport. We can't logistically distribute our freight from planes all the time. We have to move forward in future with Is it going to be drones? Is it going to be shuttles? What does that actually look like? It's not like we see Wānaka Airport today. And I love that aspect of Wānaka Airport, that there's these aviation enthusiasts that have worked there for years, and really intelligent people around aviation that actually have a passion for the Wānaka Airport. And, you know, those people and their little industries all need to be protected within any development of Wānaka as well. But potentially, we do have the potential to be world leading with smart, intelligent design in aviation airports, if we all collectively talk.
Beg your pardon. What's your stance on carbon emissions, and what should QLDC do? If you can be as specific as possible on that. So your stance on carbon emissions and what should QLDC do about this?
Yeah, so I support, you know, the carbon climate change emissions that the QLDC have, you know, come up with for 2030, 2035. I would support anything we can do to reduce carbon, and I think we've got to start with our fossil fuel industries first off. QLDC is already moving to electric vehicles for their fleets. I think it's got to go a bit further than that. I think, you know, with the fastest growing area being Wānaka in the next 10 years, it's actually better to be based over here with a bigger presence than be driving over the Crown Range individually in different cars every day of the week, which we currently have. So, you know, it's just got to be logical and simple in its solutions of how it operates. And at the moment, that's not happening.
And your position on Terrace and the proposed new airport at Terrace?
Again, only from workshops which I've attended and meetings I've attended publicly through Ignite Chamber of Commerce. I was impressed with their environmental approach and open to discussion, which I feel we need to combine with Wānaka and Terrace and openly talk the best resolution for the area. Acknowledge that we're going to have a massive earthquake. So how do we kind of distribute people and freight when this happens? And it has to be smaller. I like the fact that they, you know, workshopped along similar lines to how the Wānaka Airport started off in its workshops, was open your mind up, allow yourself to think 40 years out. You know, if you think back 20 years from where we were 20 years ago to where we are today, you wouldn't have thought we would have the technology and also scientific research that we have and the knowledge that we have to be in the place and positions we are in today. So that ability to let the mind open and let the mind go futuristic into 40 to 50 years, I don't care how old you are, it's actually, you know, encouraging people to not fear and to actually be creative with that sense of space. And I think they both have to combine to talk to see what the best solution is for both. It's neither one nor the other for me. It's actually more logical and simple. Just keep it simple and work together and talk.
So a non-airport question for a change. How do you see the role of the community board, the Wānaka Community Board, or the Upper Clutha Community Board, and where do you think it should fit with council?
Currently, the interface is fractured. It's a broken relationship with council. I don't feel that the community has any confidence in council. I think the community board has a responsibility, those people that are members of the board, to actually open that community link from community to the councillors and to council, and support council with its policies that it has in place, and actually support the community in understanding those policies. I don't think any of that currently happens. I think the transparency is very blocked from comms within council, or whether it's comms from our community. I think the latest living survey had 18% of people being satisfied in the area with that relationship. So that's a horrendous result, and actually, you know, speaks very loudly for where the council and the community have communication. They basically don't. And so Part of my reason is for standing is I do understand some procedures within councils with my work and having history of developing the lakefront development plan and getting built the first 3 stages. I do have some understanding of those processes, and I feel I also, have the ability to open up some dialogue and to support councillors and council to hear the community. And I don't see there's any point in continuing with the model that we have. I'm here for change.
So we've got a bonus final question. You've got a minute to address the people of Wānaka, and it's over to you. The floor is yours.
Well, we just have the most amazing community in Wānaka. We have an incredible amount of people doing the most amazing things in Wānaka. And, I deliver for Food for Love. I deliver for, the community. And I hear it from the people in the community that, we do have amazing people. We have the Bullock Creek community. We have Te Kākano, Kahu youth. And yet how often do we hear really good things that they're doing, being praised and congratulated? And, if we hide those away, how can we ever heal from this pandemic? And I think it's through reaching out through the community and supporting each other through these organisations and celebrating our amazing place we live in and the amazing community we have all together, being open to diversity, being open to discussion around bullying at schools, being transparent in communication with our councillors and council, because they're our governing body. And, if I am elected as a community board member, I will endeavour to persist down that avenue of open communication for the youth and encouraging the young people to step up. There's too many of us oldies that actually need to step back and allow the people that are coming up behind us and to step up and stand up, be proud of who they are and lead.